Hello, fellow scholars and purveyors of morbid curiosities alike. I'm joined by the one and only Koji Suzuki, author of the Japanese novel Spiral, Dr. Zack. And this is SCPod. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I got my reading whiskey here with me today.
Oh, I can even hear that. I can hear that. I guess we're in the same room, but if we weren't in the same room and we're using a thing to be able to talk to each other from across the country, I could probably hear that.
You could probably hear it. There's the ice jingling around the glass.
Do you prefer, like, when you get a cocktail at a bar, do you prefer like one big ass ice cube, or do you care about the form of the ice?
I don't really care about the form of the ice, but if I'm going to the bar, if for a cocktail, I kind of want the one solid piece, just because it does melt a little slower, and I'm going to be there for a minute.
That makes sense. I recently was in Vegas and went to a cigar bar, and I tried a cigar for the first time, which, now I'm a chronic smoker. Gateway drugs, kids, don't do them. But I got a Negroni because our friend that we were with had never had like an actual like cocktail, like a capital C cocktail, and I love Negronis, and so it had a big ass ice cube in it, and he was like, "What? Why the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh, I get to teach you about big ass ice cubes too."
You won't learn today, son.
So, my alcoholism is back in full swing, and now I smoke a pack and a half a day.
It's really expensive because they're a pack and a half of cigars.
Yeah. So, dear listener, we have a treat for you today. Zach and I worked deep in the lab trying to figure out what we wanted to do for Season 5. And we decided that we've been teasing the fans long enough, and we should do a No 1 proposal.
Yeah, and we wanted to do one for a minute, but we didn't know necessarily what form that we wanted to do that in. So we just figured we'd do a one-off episode. We certainly wouldn't make a whole season about it.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of crazy stuff people are cooking up in YouTube these days, but yeah, we just wanted to get back to the community a little bit. You guys have supported us through so much, and we just hit 8 subscribers. So
thanks,
yeah.
Mom.
So this is Dr. Mann's proposal, SCP-001. Object class, Embla. Containment procedures are as follows. SCP-001 is contained on the grounds of Site 0 in upstate Redacted. A fence has been constructed around the perimeter of SCP-001's observed effects. In addition to Site 0's security, no fewer than 5 armed guards are to be present at all times to prevent unauthorized entry. The adjoining physics laboratory will be manned at all hours, studying any anomalies. A small metal plaque bearing an inscription will be maintained in very good condition. Any damage is to be immediately reported to maintenance. Description: SCP-001 is a circular gravel path in a wooded area. When traveled in a counterclockwise direction, the trail is continuously uphill, even after reaching the original point. When traveled in a clockwise direction, the trail shows the same amount of uphill and downhill travel, as expected. Level 5 clearance is required to access SCP-001's experiment log. New members of the Overseer Council are required to read Document 001-05. And, I don't know how we got it, but, we have it.
We have it, and I will read it in full now. Let me just take another sip of my reading whiskey. If you're reading this, then congratulations. One of us has died. Something killed one of us. A monster, perhaps. Or a rival from the GOC. Or maybe we just got a little close to the flame, like Aaron. Not old age, of course. We took care of that, didn't we? Anyway, one of the old guard is gone. Maybe Jason. Maybe Agnes. Maybe me. Hell, I'd be surprised if I wasn't the next one to die. I was always the most expendable. I'm going to write this to you as though you were a human being. It will be the last time anyone extends you that courtesy, so I hope you appreciate it. Whoever you are, whatever you did before, you must have been high-ranking when you were pulled into this. You must have noticed the discrepancies, the inconsistencies. I don't even know how much you've been told already, or how much you've pieced together. The crux of the matter is this. The retrievals and the recoveries of SCP objects are staged, or made up of whole cloth. We have never discovered an SCP in the entire history of the Foundation. I should start from the beginning. Let me tell you a story. Aaron Siegel was a physicist studying at Cornell in 1891. He was a truly gifted individual and had his life taken a different path. I believe that his name would be up there with Edison, Einstein, and Hawking. I knew him really well. He was, and may still be, my brother. He was also an avid amateur naturalist and enjoyed hiking through the woods. One day, while visiting our family home in Essex County, he came across a gravel path. He decided to follow it for a time and noticed that it kept climbing uphill far longer than it should have. It should have taken him above the nearby hills. Instead, he found himself back where he started, without a foot of downwards travel. Another man would have assumed his senses were faulty and left. Aaron, however, was a stubborn man. He investigated further. He found the path did not conform to the pure geometry of Euclid. Like Zachary before him, he had found something abhorrent to the nature of straight lines. He studied it. The equations he derived are part of the file you've received. You'll learn them by heart eventually. He built a small shack nearby which served as a makeshift laboratory. His first experiments produced a key capable of opening any lock, now contained as SCP-005. He brought in others. As his brother, I was one of the first he contacted. I was a medical student at Harvard at the time. I initially thought he was mad, but when he showed me the path, the key, I had to learn more. There were others with us, our friends and colleagues. Most of them are gone now, but we were the core. We created the Foundation from around ourselves. In the beginning, it was just a discovery about finding the things we could do. We had such high hopes, such plans. We were going to change the world. We were going to save it from itself. We could feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, heal the sick and dying. Thomas Carter found us money. We were none of us poor, but we ran through our fortunes quickly. Thomas used his connections on Wall Street and in Washington to fund us. He showed them the least of what we could do and promised heaven against the threat of hell. Agnes Peterson, my brother's fiancée, was the administrator. We knew nothing of how to run an organization. We were a herd of cats running to and fro, and she turned us into a foundation, putting us dreamers and madmen to the same yoke. We soon had a facility built, but we were still so secretive. As much as we wanted to shout from the rooftops what we had found, we were frightened, too, that it would be taken from us. We told ourselves it was just for the interim, until we were sure of our footing. We'd show them eventually. We'd show them all. We were careful at first. We made small, inoffensive, and even helpful items. The Fountain of Youth, the bouncing ball, the Civil War statue. We grew more confident, and we started working on humans. The concrete man. He volunteered. Or the man with an abdominal planet. Just a drifter, but we made him something special, didn't we? It was all so easy. Perhaps it seemed absurd to get so many things from that one little break in reality, but it all flowed, one discovery to the next. It almost seemed like something was helping us along. But then things started to go a bit wrong. While he was playing with his equations, Aaron accidentally derived the missing number. In my laboratory, I found I had made the zombie plague. But we were too invested in our projects, so we pushed ahead. Then came the pipe nightmare and the stairwell. We knew we need more help. Thomas showed what we'd done to the military, told them that we'd, quote, found these things, discovered them. We made up names like Prometheus Labs and the Chaos Insurgency. They gave us funding, personnel. We built up and expanded outwards. We repeated the cell in the other countries. Some listened, some didn't. Enough did. We became an international organization. We brought in more researchers, though very few ever suspected we were the source of the items they studied. Sometimes we would arrange a object to be, quote, found by a field team. Sometimes we would simply write the reports. We generated the paperwork, and we were the oversight. If we said a thing was, it was. It still is. There were some problems, of course. Jeremy and Thomas took one of the experiments and ran off with it, creating their ridiculous club. One of the researchers grew mad and started worshipping machines, escaping with enough knowledge and to be dangerous. We still deal with the follow-up of these splinter groups. So we contained them. We handled them. We couldn't stop, surely you can see that. Rather than more cautious, we grew bolder. I cut a little boy up and turned him into the first flesh that hates. There were reasons. There were always reasons. 231, we created her and her sisters. We took them from orphanages and arranged for what followed. And it was no accident. We knew what we were doing. There was a reason for it once, but I'll be damned if I can remember it now. None of us do, except maybe my brother, wherever and whatever he is now. We keep moving forward, even after Abel, after the blood pond, and the damnable reptile. We still move forward with our work. What else can we do? Our only hope is to survive the events we've set in motion, is to understand better, to learn more. We're on the back of a terrible beast, and if we try to jump off now, we'll be crushed beneath. But that's not what frightens me, and it's not what should frighten you. We've maintained our foothold for over 100 years. The things I really, really worry about are the anomalies we didn't create. No, I was telling you the truth the first time. We didn't discover any of them, but some of them, they aren't ours. They were one day. They weren't in containment, and they'd always been in containment. Don't you see? We're not in control anymore. We never were. Scene. So, Caleb, after finding out your entire career to lie, how do you feel?
I'm doing the Shia LaBeouf clapping. You see, Zach, this is an interesting prospect here. Because I've never been someone who takes pride in their work. I show up for the paycheck and then I go home.
Yeah.
And I beat my meat like it owes me money, and then I go to sleep.
The dream.
I don't dream, actually. No, this is interesting. Are we okay to reference other O1 proposals here?
Sure.
Is this a safe space, Zach?
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of there's a few different like variations of O1 proposals, right? Like, there's like the Gate Guardian, which we'll probably never cover. Then there's like the Sheaf of Papers, which is like a way to describe how SCPs are coming into existence. And there's another one like the Factory, which is very similar to that. Like, it explains how SCPs are coming into existence. And this is also in that same vein. This is not one that I had ever heard before today. And so this is a real treat. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's thought-provoking.
I like this one the most out of all of them, just because it's so understated. It's just this wonderful little story, and it's like, with all the cosmic nonsense and shenanigans of the Foundation, it seems so believable that it all started with, we were trying to help and it got out of hand.
Right. And, it also is interesting, too, because this implies that the SCPs and the Foundation itself is a more recent phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't something that is, like, the Oxford University or whatever that's been around since triple digits, This is, like, within the last 200 years, which I think explains a lot of the inconsistencies we see of, like, how would cavemen know how to deal with the cake?
Right, or like the idea of SCP Foundation as tech startup.
Yeah.
Like the only reason why it's as organized as it is the fact that they had one person at the beginning who kind of knew what they were doing. But even then, it was all based off the work of one person, so it's going to flow downhill.
Right, right.
I like the idea of it starting with a physical anomaly that then extrapolates out. And I'm fascinated by the idea of at the end of the document when they're talking about the SCPs that were just sort of there one day.
Yeah, am I confused here? They're not. The gravel path is not the one making the SCPs, right? They're using the discoveries from researching the gravel path to create the anomalies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Until they aren't.
Right, right.
And I feel like they kind of it follows a sort of sense of reason where they're creating the things, but by creating these things that are derivative of a facet of reality in a specific place, breaking down in some way, that maybe there are tack-on effects. Like, you've now fucked with the very things that create and maintain the world, and these sort of things leaking in are part of the ramifications.
Right. It's almost like a chemical byproduct.
Yeah, but like you don't know which of the processes you've started created it.
Right, right.
Like, did you create the zombie plague and then have SCP-999 come in, which seemingly very neatly solves the problem of the was it the what's the
zombie plague? Oh, Scarlet King.
Yeah, like a byproduct of the zombie plague somehow solves the Scarlet King.
Yeah.
Like, I like that idea of magic works the way you think it does, but also you don't necessarily know how it actually works.
Right, right.
Or like when you're when you're mixing colors and you get a color combination that creates something that you would have never guessed.
Right.
And this is something I don't know. It framed with the framing of this document. It really is something that I really enjoy. Where it just feels so believable to me. Not necessarily more fantastic aspects, but just like that human connection, that human line of like, we just found something. We didn't really think about it too hard, but until we had to.
Right, right. It's one of those, like, we had noble intentions in the start, and, like, we still have those noble intentions, but, human curiosity kind of stepped in the way of that a little bit.
Well, I mean, human curiosity, and then greed, and then there's other ambitions.
Right. Right, right.
And that's just what I really appreciated of it. And, like, just the framing of, one of us has died, and now this is your problem.
Yeah. It's like the onboarding for the O5 Council.
God, what a shitty job that must be to have.
Right, right.
Like, you're now less human than you were because you accepted the position.
It is like, I cannot imagine, based off everything I've ever read or seen about the O5 Council, I'm glad I'm just a lowly podcaster with level 1 clearance on everything, because I would not want that kind of power.
Oh yeah,
I enjoy leaking company secrets out to the world, and that is what I'm good at.
yeah. So it's, I don't know. We've been doing the show for a couple of years now, and I just thought it'd be cool to touch on at least an SCP-001 proposal, and just like we said at the top, this is my personal favorite 001 proposal. It's a good read.
Yeah, and it name drops my favorite SCP as well,
Yeah. Like, the idea of someone... Oh, yeah, we made the first Flesh That Hates.
Yeah. That's insane. It really makes you think, like... How'd they make the bears, Zach? How'd they make the bears?
Did they make the bears, or did they accidentally find that the bears existed one day?
Oh, yeah, the bears are a byproduct. That would explain so much.
In your opinion, what was the byproduct? If the bears was the byproduct, what was the intended product?
Harold Holt.
In one of his many variations?
Yep.
Harold Holt, Leslie Baskin-Robbins, has 32 flavors.
Harold Holt was like swimming in the fucking ocean or whatever, and that's how he vanished, and became the Harold Holt we all know and love. What if it was him being magically transported to the SCP Foundation, and then like the byproduct just like made infinite bears?
No. What happened was that Harold Holt was sucked into an ocean portal and then transported into a town in the North Woods, and then via magical mitosis, divided, like, split cells and became bears.
Yeah.
All of the bears are Harold Holt now.
Yeah. I like this game. I like this game of what's the cause if we know the effect.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, have fun playing around with it in the comment section.
It does. It's interesting, right? Because there's like, the Cragglewood Park thing, right? And the Summer of '91, how those two are seemingly related, but like not really. And I think that this kind of explains away that. And then, a future SCP that I hope that we could talk about at some point, Dr. Zach, your leg, has a sister SCP as well. And again, like, not like exact replicas, but like similar enough that I feel like this kind of explains away that too.
Yeah, and like, it kind of is. If you're going to have this many articles about this many things on one repository, you're going to have inconsistencies, and this does a really good job of, like, not necessarily, I don't want to say hand wave, and I don't want to say excuse, but like addressing them.
Yeah.
It's sort of like when you have a long enough running serial of like a comics or something like that, you're just going to have stuff that accidentally retcons lore.
Right. Well, and I feel like for the most part, you can kind of not hand wave it, but almost like explain it with just like temporal anomalies, different timelines, But I think this also kind of wraps it up in a nice bow too.
Yeah, it does a little bit of the Doctor Who timey-wimey stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what all I wanted to do today was just bring up this thing that I think is really neat, and I think more people should just be aware of or read. If you go to the wiki, you can pull it up as Dr. Mann's proposal, and it's worth it. In my whatever my opinion counts for, I think this is one of the best written things on the wiki.
Yeah, I could see that. Thank you, Dr. Zach. This is the 7th time you've brought the Spiral Path to show and tell.
And I will bring it to an 8th.
That's the Spiral Path. Lot to chew on there, but we don't want to ruin the magic of this. Dr. Zach, where can people find you?
They can find me over on my blog over at www.makeawritingcheck.blogspot.com. They can also find my ebook wherever it is that they find ebooks, Tales from Port Aster.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Calica1738. And you can also find me on YouTube, where I make a variety of content, including another podcast called The Friendly Fire Show, with our good friend Braxton, who does our thumbnail art. That is on YouTube at Calica. And then you can also find the podcast on Twitter at SCPod_cast. Follow us on Instagram at SCPod.cast. We're also available on Blue Sky at SCPod. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Podcast Addict, as well as most RSS feeds. If you want to listen to us on a different platform, or get your friend who's a little ignorant towards YouTube to listen to us. Please remember to like, rate, follow, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. It's a free and easy way to support the show and get us into the network of the bigwigs, and put us into the path of the spiral, I think. And if you want to support us in a little bit of a more direct way, we do also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/SCPod, where you'll get full access to the full seasonal episode schedule. And who knows, maybe some bonus content will go up there sometime. But Zach and I don't have a lot of free time to do that kind of stuff. And we also don't want to pay gate anybody from anything SCPod related. So, again, that's SCPod on Patreon. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing next week, but I'm sure it's going to be a banger. And I hope that it will blow this out of the water, because this was fucking lame. And I'm just kidding, Zach. This was awesome. Thank you for bringing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach, what, you said that you like long walks on the beach and long walks through the forest, but what else does your Hinge dating profile say?
Well, it says that I'm her union rep, Jimmy no last name.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.